let's take a look at Storm. So right now, Storm looks like everything is okay. However, if we look closer at player 2, we have no image in the headset. Typically, that's either a cable problem, most likely. Sometimes a headset problem, but not as often. But there's another clue here. If you look over at player 1, you see we have LEDs in there. But on player 2, no LEDs. That thing right there is a leap motion, and it's what detects the hands when you're playing the game. Also, look right there, we have a little green LED, and on this side, it's just red. All of those things point to a computer problem. So if we lift this door up, we can see that our power light is not on, but the power light on that side is on. I mean, the headset is technically getting power because it has a light on there, and the only thing going to the headset is this guy down here, which does have a separate power. So it makes sense that we have power but no image. What I don't know is why that light is lit up. Maybe that has something to do with PoE, I'm not entirely sure. Either way, we've had this issue before. But throughout the entire weekend, this PC kept turning off. Once we turn it back on, it runs fine, but then at some point, it just turns itself off. I want to say there's a way to actually look up like diagnostics for the PC, and it'll tell you like a crash report or why it turned off, but I don't know how to do that right now. And because it happened so many times, I'm kind of thinking we have a power supply problem. Maybe the power supply just keeps failing, I'm not too sure. But that's the route I'm going to take for now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this PC pulled out. We're going to unplug everything from the computer. This is our leap motion. We got our Ethernet that connects it to the master PC. This USB right here goes down to the switch. This USB right here goes down to the controller for the VR. This is our headset video, and this is our TV video. Now we remove 3 out of the 4 screws because that one's missing. Now we'll get this guy pulled out. So here we are back in the office. We're just going to get the cover taken off the PC. My 2 working theories are a failing power supply, or maybe it's just overheating and turning off. Did I forget some screws? Yeah, we got 2 screws in the back. Now I can slide it. Our heat sink doesn't look like it has any dust in it. Before I do anything too crazy, let me just go ahead and plug in a power cable. Well, off rip, I plugged it in and it did not turn on. Power supply is on. It should turn on by itself, but it definitely is not. So that's one problem. I think I'll worry about the BIOS thing later. Let's turn the PC on, see what that does. We got power. All those fans turn on. Heatsink fan turns on for the CPU. Graphics card fans turn on. Alright, everything looks good. Power supply fan turns on. I have 5 volts on my red, and I got 12 volts on my yellow. So I have good voltage. So everything PC side seems pretty good to me. There is one thing that I noticed. I have another little board down in there, and I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to do. It's buried underneath all these wires. Whoa, and it just turned off. I don't know if I did that when I picked up on this, but the whole PC just turned off. And then power. Ooh, now power doesn't work. I'm still plugged in. Still plugged in. Power does nothing. I am still turned on right there. I don't know if it was a coincidence that when I tried moving these that the whole thing turned off. If it was a coincidence, I would think power button would work. I don't feel any excessive heat coming out of the power supply. I don't feel any excessive heat on the graphics card or the heatsink. Nothing around here feels hot. So either my power supply actually just failed and my initial thought was right, or I pulled something over here that messed with something. So what does this board down in there even do? So that board down there, to me, looks like just a splitter board for the 3 fans in the back of the cabinet. And how the heck? That fan is missing a blade. Wonder where oh, there it is. That's pretty cool. So if that board just splits power up for the fans, then me touching it should have nothing to do with computer power, which is corroborated by the fact the power button still doesn't work. So what happens if I turn the power supply off, and then turn it back on, and then press power? Still nothing. Oh, no, I lied. I turned on. Proof of point. Messing with this. Does nothing. I'm surprised that fan isn't rattling like crazy. It might be a little bit. So right now the PC is running. I'm going to let it run for a little bit and see if it turns off again. So this has been running for quite a bit now. I'd say maybe about 30 minutes, which is a lot longer than it lasted the first time. The first time it was only maybe 10. Everything seems good. I'm getting a little bit of heat down here. These guys are pretty toasty, but I think those are inductors or something similar, so I think it's normal for those to get hot. I am still kind of leaning towards the power supply being the problem because everything turned off. You know, if it was just the motherboard, then the fans would probably still be spinning. no amount of wiggling or anything over here has made it turn off. Power supplies are cheap enough, and it's not like if I buy one and that's not the problem, I can't use it later. So I'm gonna go pick up a power supply. I'll make sure it's all rated the same, and I'm gonna swap that in. So while I go do that, I'm gonna keep letting this run. So let's go. This one right here should do fine. Overall, it's a little bit powered, but the individual specs match better. Cool. And we're back. The PC is still on. That's incredibly weird because it died really fast the first time, and it's been dying all weekend. But now it's just running. Nothing. Either way, like I said, I got a power supply. If that's not the problem, I can keep this for another game. I'll also check thermal paste and that kind of stuff too, because I have the computer out. So let's just unplug this. Our power supply is plugged into 1, 2, 3 spots on the motherboard at least, and then we got one little guy right back here. We also have this little booger on the hard drive. Now we remove the power supply. It's only 7 screws, and then this guy can just kind of shimmy on out of here. Open the new one. Safety and compliance. Safety's for losers. Alright. I love the smell of new power supplies. Just kidding, it doesn't smell that great. So I was about to put this back in there, but I realized something. This is a bezel around the power supply. That's what I get for not paying attention. So let's get this transferred. Alright, I got the bezel put back on. Now we can get this guy back in. Just like that. Secure it with the screws. And just like we counted before, we have 1 and 2. And the third one is just the graphics card. And the other end of this cable has got to go in right down in there. And now we got our little fan board to hook up. So we'll plug that in right there. And the other end right here. Now we'll just go ahead and unscrew the heatsink. And we'll pull it out. So I got the heatsink off, I got that cleaned. I cleaned off the CPU, I put more thermal paste on there, go ahead and judge me. But, guys, I did it again. This computer or the motherboard has clamps underneath it, rather than the threads or the heatsink being built into the case. It's just a clamp underneath the motherboard, and that one's kind of still in place, but I've lost that one. Well, I didn't lose it, it's just like underneath the board somewhere. So, I'm gonna have to pull this board out. It should be pretty simple, it's just pulling the board out. So I'm going to do that, but if you want to see it, I bought this guy today. I already have a GoPro. I bought this. I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to record that process on my GoPro, and I'm going to post that to my YouTube. Wish me luck, because I have no idea how I'm going to edit it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. But regardless, I'll put it on YouTube. It may not be at the same time as this video, but it'll be shortly after. But yeah, so I'm going to get that done, and I'll be back. Alrighty, so I'm back at Storm. I did make a video of me finishing up the PC. I don't think it came out that well, but you know, that's just me. If you are interested, go check it out. Like I said, that'll be on my YouTube soon. Anyways, right now we gotta get this computer back inside there. Alright, got it remounted. Now all we gotta do is plug all the stuff back in. This goes right here. Can't forget the power plug. Right there. We'll turn that on. Alright, I believe that's everything. And yes, the game was off while I did that. Let's turn that back on. And we'll have to manually put power to the client PC until I can get back in there and change the BIOS. Now we just gotta wait for it to boot up. Well, the power light is lit up, but the HDD light is not. And I believe it should flash every couple of seconds based on what that one is doing. We're not getting that here. Did I forget to plug something in? No, I don't think I did. Still no light right there. Oh wait, that's because, yeah, okay, I did forget one thing. So this is our leap motion right there. Alright, so we still got no image. We still have no leap motion. Our PC is still on. Everything is plugged in. So I'm gonna need a part 2 for this one.